We shall understand Bain's limit pricing theory in this module. But before that, we have seen the price determination under different market structures, that is perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition and oligopoly. In the perfect competition and the monopolistic competition market structure, we have studied the effects of the actual entry of the new firms on the price and output decisions of the existing firms. But in monopoly and oligopoly market structures, the existing firms do not worry about the potential entry of the new firms. The traditional closed oligopoly models like Cournot, Bertrand, Edgeworth and Chamberlain do not provide for entry of new firms. Under oligopoly, the number of firms assumed to be constant. It is only the reaction behavior of the existing firms to the moves of the rival is explained. But recently, it has been argued by several economists that the price and the output decisions of the existing firms in the oligopolistic markets are affected not only by the potential entry of the firms, but by the actual entry as well. The prominent economists of these findings are Bain, Sailos-Labini, Andrews, Modigliani and Jagdish Bhagwati. Another issue that has been raised by these economists is that the objective of the firm under oligopoly is not to maximize the short run profits, but to maximize the profits over the long run. The oligopolistic firm seeks to maximize the profits over the long run after allowing the entry of the potential firms that affect the possibilities of profit. J. S. Bain, in his pioneering work A Note on Pricing in Oligopoly and Monopoly in 1949, followed by his book Barriers to New Competition, developed the theory of limit pricing. According to him, limit theory implies that firms do not maximize profit in the short run because of the fear of excessive profit, which induces the entry of new firms and thus reducing the profits in the long run. According to him, the oligopolistic firms do not charge the price that is equals to the short run profit maximizing price, but charges a lower price so as to prevent the entry of the new firms in the industry. The theory of limit pricing is also known as entry preventing prices. The theory of Bain's limit pricing has been further developed by Sailos-Labini, Modigliani and Jagdish Bhagwati. Let us study the theory of limit pricing in detail.
After studying this module, you shall be able to know the concept of limit pricing, know the concept of collusive oligopoly, understand why collusive oligopoly tries to maximize long-run profits. Let us begin understanding Bain's theory of limit pricing. J. S. Bain, in his pioneering work A Note on Pricing in Oligopoly and Monopoly in 1949, followed by his book Barriers to New Competition, developed the theory of limit pricing. The theory explains as to why firms do not set the price following the marginal principal rule. According to Bain, the price is not set at the minimum point of long-run average cost curve. He explained that the firms are deliberately set a price above the minimum of long-run average cost curve in order to restrict the potential entry of new firms. Thus, limit price was the highest price which the established firms believed that they could charge without inducing further entry. This price may be lower than the price set by the profit maximizing firm. This theory basically related to the case of collusive oligopoly firm. According to Bain, the limit price is determined by the cost of the potential entrants, market size where firms are operating, the number of established firms in the industry, price elasticity of demand for the industry product, and the shape of the long-run average cost curve. The BAIN'S model of limit pricing is based on some assumptions. First, there are some established firms in the industry. Second, the market demand curve for the product is not affected by price adjustment by the existing firms or by the entry of new firms in the industry. Third, there is effective collusion among the firm which is based upon the dominant leader firm. Fourth, there are long-run price and output adjustments. Fifth, the leader firm fixes the limit price below which entry will not take place. Sixth, the other firms in the group follow unified price policy. Seventh, the established firms seek the maximization of their own long-run growth. Under BAIN'S model, he defined the limit price model as the condition for entry. The condition for entry is defined as a percentage by which established firm can increase the price above the competitive price without attracting the entry of new firms into the industry. The conditions for entry can be expressed mathematically as capital C is equals to PL minus PC divided by PC, or PL is equals to PC bracket 1 plus capital C bracket close, where PL is the limit price, PC is the perfectly competitive price, and capital C is the percentage which the established firms may get. Suppose the firm set the limit price above the competitive price, then each firm would earn supernormal profit as price is more than the average cost. If price is equal to average cost, then firms are earning only normal profits. Thus, capital C is the percentage or a premium above competitive price which the existing firms earn by fixing the higher limit price. Bain assumed that the condition of entry of new firm involved for which time period which is long enough. This time period depends upon the changing conditions of demand and input prices. The more the time a firm takes to establish itself, the lesser the degree of threat posed by its entry. So, there exists a wide gap between the limit price and the competitive price. This gap between competitive price and limit price is known as entry barrier or entry gap. Moving on to entry barriers, the condition of entry by which the established firm can charge higher prices as compared to the competitive price depends on the presence of various barriers to entry. The major sources of entry barriers are product differentiation, economies of scale, absolute cost advantage of established firms, large initial capital requirements, the minimum scale for the efficient or optimum production. Let us study all of them in detail. The product differentiation gives an individual firm an advantage in terms of degree of control over the price of their product. The new entrant cannot produce the same identical product as produced by the established firms. An entrant is at a disadvantage because she has to make her product known and attract some customary buyers from the established firms. As a result, the new firm has to sell at a lower price or spend more on advertising or undertake both. Hence, the cost of the new entrant goes up. There are three reasons for internal economies of scale, and one of them was given by Adam Smith. First, division of labor and specialization. Second, technological factors. Third, one-time cost. In short run, when we have some fixed factors with variable factors, then by expanding the variable factors alone reduces the opportunities for specialization and division of labor. In this situation, marginal product rises, quickly reaching its maximum and declines thereafter. But when fixed and variable factors expanded together, then certain economies of scale are reaped by the specialization and division of labor. If the capacity of plant is small, then it is employing small number of workers and each worker have to perform several tasks in the process of production. So, he would not be able to specialize in one task as he will be engaged in several tasks together. But the scenario would be different if the size of the plant is a bit large. As plant size is large, it can employ large number of workers and this will allow each worker to specialize in one task and reduce the unit cost of the production. Next is technological factors. When firm increases its scale of operations, then it is also possible to have more technically efficient forms of all factors. The cost of purchasing larger machine is usually proportionately less in comparison to smaller machines. For example, a printer that can print 1 lakh papers per day does not cost 10 times as one that prints 10,000 per day, and nor does it requires 10 times more worker and so on. Expanding usage of technological factors reduces the unit cost of production. One-time cost is the third source of increasing returns to scale, where even in the long run, inputs do not have to be increased as the output of a product increases. For example, research and development cost to design a new product is incurred only once for each product. So, the average total cost falls as the output increases. The effect of one-time cost is that they cause an average cost to fall over an entire range of output. The next source of entry barrier is the absolute cost advantage of the established firms. The established firms enjoy an absolute cost advantage over the potential entrants. The established firms enjoy an absolute cost advantage due to a. Skills of expert management personnel who experienced various expertise during work. B. Patents and superior techniques. C. Control of the supply of raw materials. And D. Lower cost of capital markets. If any type of absolute cost advantage exists, then the long run average cost of the new firm would be higher at every scale of production than that of the established firms. Thus, due to this cost advantage of the established firms, that the new firms cannot compete with the already existing firms. The next source of entry barrier is the large initial capital requirement. In order to set up a new firm, the firm needs large amount of initial capital which may be difficult for the new firms to mobilize. Banks may be reluctant to finance new business and the capital market could be almost inaccessible to the new entrants. This acts as a barrier to entry of firms in an industry. The last source of entry barrier is the minimum scale for efficient production. In order to produce optimality, the new firm should set minimum size of plant where average cost is minimum. We shall now understand the limit pricing model graphically. We have seen that limit pricing is the entry preventing price. Under this model, Bain assumed that products produced by the established firms and the potential firms are homogeneous. It is also assumed that collusive oligopoly seeks to maximize profits over long run rather than short run profits. There is a given determinate demand curve for the industry. The market demand curve for the product is not affected by price adjustment by the existing firms or by the entry of new firms in the industry. It remains unaltered and stable. Corresponding to this demand curve, there is a marginal revenue curve which shows the addition to revenue attributable to sale of one more unit of product. The new task is to decide what would be the level of limit price that has to be set by the collusive oligopolistic firms to prevent the entry of new firms. The important aspect of the BAIN'S limit pricing theory is that Bain tried to explain the phenomena of oligopolistic firms in some industries keeping their price at a level of demand where price elasticity of demand is less than unity. It can also be seen from the figure that if the average cost of the potential entrant is OJ on the given market demand curve DD, the price elasticity of demand is less than unity. This corresponds to a point below the midpoint of the linear demand curve DD, and at this price, marginal revenue curve becomes negative. According to Bain, the established oligopoly could set the price at OJ as the limit price, as this price is still more than their long run average cost curve. At this price, established firms are earning profit as price is more than the long run average cost. Further, we will discuss the relationship between Bain's limit pricing and the elasticity of demand. The another important feature of Bain's limit pricing theory is that if the market demand and the cost conditions allows the monopoly price to be less than the limit price, then the oligopolistic firms would charge the monopoly price to maximize their short run profits. This price not only maximizes the short run profits but also serve to prevent potential entrants and maximizes the long run profits. We have seen that Bain was able to explain why collusive oligopolistic firms charge price below the short run profit maximizing price. This is because of the threat of potential entry of new firms. These firms want to prevent the new entry to ensure long run maximum profits.
Let us now summarize what we have studied in this module. According to Bain, limit theory implies that firms do not maximize profits in the short run because of the fear of excessive profits, which induces the entry of the new firms and thus reducing the profits in the long run. According to him, the oligopolistic firms do not charge the price that is equals to the short run profit maximizing price, but charges a lower price so as to prevent the entry of the new firms in the industry. The theory of limit pricing is also known as entry preventing pricing. According to Bain, the price is not set at the minimum point of the long run average cost curve. He explained that the firms are deliberately set a price above the minimum of the long run average cost in order to restrict the potential entry of the new firms. Thus, limit price was the highest price which the established firms believed they could charge without inducing further entry. This price may be lower than the prices set by the profit maximizing firm. This theory basically related to the case of collusive oligopoly firm. Bain's theory states that if the established collusive oligopolistic firm charges the monopoly price, they are incurring huge profits as price is more than the long run average cost. But if the firm set the price which is equals to the long run average cost of the potential entrants, then the established collusive oligopolistic firms are still benefiting but not the new entrants. This is so because at this price, the established collusive oligopolistic firms are incurring profits as price is more than their long run average cost. But the same is not true for the potential entrants. At this price, new entrants are just earning normal profits because their long run average cost curve is equals to the price. The important aspect of the Bain's limit pricing theory is that Bain tried to explain the phenomena of oligopolistic firm in some industries keeping their price at a level of demand where price elasticity of demand is less than unity. The theory of Bain's limit pricing has been further developed by Silos Labini, Modigliani and Jagdish Bhagwati. The another important feature of Bain's limit pricing theory is that if the market demand and the cost conditions allow the monopoly price to be less than the limit price, then the oligopolistic firms would charge the monopoly price to maximize their short run profits. This price not only maximizes the short run profits but also serve to prevent the potential entrants and maximizes the long run profits.